What if I told you that your minimum wage paycheck could be the key to financial freedom? Most people see it as barely enough to survive, as a trap that keeps them stuck month after month. But what if I told you that with the right mindset and strategy, even a small salary can be transformed into a wealth-building machine? In this video, you're going to discover the secrets that the ultra-successful use to turn modest income into real financial power. This isn't about luck, inheritance, or getting rich quick. It's about strategy, discipline, and thinking like a millionaire, even if you're just starting out. If you've ever felt trapped by your paycheck, stuck living paycheck to paycheck, today you'll learn how to flip the script and make your money work for you. Watch closely, because what you're about to discover can change the way you earn, save, and grow forever. Think of someone living on minimum wage, without inheritance, connections, or luck. They wake up early, face crowded buses, work all day, and come home exhausted. Money barely covers basic expenses. Then Buffett says, most people remain poor, not because they lack money, but because they lack a financial method. It may sound harsh, but it's true. No one taught you how to manage money. School ignored financial education. Society pushed you toward installment-based consumption as a symbol of success. Your parents, with all their love, only taught you how to survive, because that's what they had learned themselves. Buffett understood early that getting rich doesn't depend on miracles. It depends on habits. He started almost from scratch, selling candy, delivering newspapers, saving coins as if they were gold. While the world waited to have money left over to invest, he did the opposite. He invested first, even if it was a little. That's the secret no one talks about. While many say, with this salary, nothing can be done, there are people quietly growing wealth, month after month. Money can change your life, but it depends on what you do with today's earnings. Even with a small income, it's possible to build passive income, invest intelligently, and achieve financial independence. It's not magic. It's focus, vision, and consistency. Warren Buffett became one of the richest men in the world through discipline and strategy. If you apply these principles, even earning the minimum wage, without showing off, without taking unnecessary risks, and without relying on luck, your reality can change. But first, you must stop making excuses. This video is for anyone tired of mental poverty, lack of initiative, and limited mindset. It's not simple, but it's possible. Will you remain a slave to your salary, or will you turn it into a ladder to your freedom? From now on, every dollar you earn should have a purpose. And maybe after today, you'll never look at your salary with shame again, because we're going to transform it into the foundation of your wealth. You need a wealth mindset, even with little money. Before earning your first $1 million, it's essential to learn to think like someone who already did. And here lies the mistake of many. They believe being rich means having luxury cars, expensive watches, and international trips. But Buffett never flaunted any of that, and he has more money than any influencer you follow on social media. He understood something schools never teach. Money is a reflection of how you think. If you believe minimum wage is a prison, it will be. If you think only the rich can invest, you'll never start. If you believe you need to spend to live, you'll always be in the red. Buffett, even as a young man with no money, developed a rare skill: delayed gratification. He didn't feel the need to prove anything to anyone. While other kids spent on trivial things, he bought stocks. While friends used newspaper money for fun, he reinvested it. He realized that true wealth is built from the inside out. You can earn a lot and still be poor if your mind is programmed for consumption, vanity, and haste. Want to transform your life with the salary you have today? Start at the foundation. Real financial education. Accept that the process is slow. Financial freedom grows like a tree. You plant it, care for it, and wait. Month after month, a small action, an unnecessary expense eliminated, a tiny investment focused on the future. At first, it seems like nothing happens, But then you look back and realize how far you've come. Buffett's success was built on what someone planted long ago. That's what you need to do now. Plant your tree, even with small change, even if no one understands. It's not about having a lot. It's about clarity, patience, and long-term vision. Before spreadsheets or apps, understand this. The true millionaire is first born in the mind. If you don't train your thinking with financial intelligence, money will slip through your fingers. The good news? Now you know. And that knowledge alone puts you ahead. Let's talk about the first practical attitude for anyone who wants to escape poverty, even on minimum wage. Separate before you spend. It seems simple, but almost no one does it. Most people do the opposite. Spend everything, pay bills, buy what they want, and if anything's left, they think about saving. But money has a cruel rule. It adapts to your behavior. If you act as if your entire salary is yours to spend, it disappears. But if you master your money from the start, it begins to work in your favor. Buffett did this from a young age. He set aside a portion before spending a single cent. It was automatic, as if that money didn't even exist. Why does this work so well? Because our minds are experts at making excuses. If you wait for leftovers, you'll always find a reason not to save. The month was tight, I can't do it now. The next month starts, and the years go by, but when you reverse that logic and set aside money before spending, your mind adapts. The rule is simple. 10% of what you earn is not yours. It belongs to your future self. If you earn minimum wage, set aside 10%. If that feels difficult, start with 5%. If that still seems like too much, start with whatever you can. The amount matters less than the decision to start. Imagine this. Every month, you separate a portion of what you earn before paying any bills. You keep it as if it were an obligatory expense, and over time, it changes everything. The power of small, consistent contributions. Think of a tiny seed that fits on the tip of your finger. If watered every day with patience and care, it grows into a tree, shade fruit, shelter. That is the best metaphor for what happens with money when it is invested each month, even in small amounts, even if no one sees it. Warren Buffett didn't become rich overnight. His secret weapon was time. He started investing at age 11 and never stopped. And the most impressive part, most of his fortune came after he turned 60. Why? Because he used the simplest and most effective formula. Small amounts, consistent effort, and time equals freedom. Most people want to get rich fast, to double their money in a month. They end up falling for scams, losing everything, and claiming investing is too risky. Buffett did something different. He took part of what he saved and invested it in assets that grow over time. Not magical, not flashy, just consistent. Do the math. If someone earning minimum wage set aside only $100 per month and invested it with an average return of 1% per month, in 10 years they would have over $10,000. No miracles, no salary increase, no entrepreneurship. If they continued for 20 years, it would exceed $10,000. Ah, but that's a small amount, you might think. Yes, if you stop there. But that amount grows as you increase contributions, reinvest profits, and create new income sources. This is the famous snowball effect. It starts small but grows fast if you keep going. Most importantly, those numbers are far greater than someone who does nothing. The difference between someone investing $100 per month and someone investing nothing is not just the value. It's freedom. It's the power to choose. It's time working for you instead of against you. Lifestyle matters. The world is full of people with new cars and empty accounts, branded clothes and maxed out credit cards, good salaries but ruined futures. But it's also full of people who earn little and are quietly building wealth. Buffett said, "You don't need to do extraordinary things to get extraordinary results. You just need to do simple things consistently. That is the plan. Set aside a portion of your salary every month and invest without skipping months, without trying to time the perfect opportunity. You don't need to be an expert. You need to be consistent." Over time, money works for you. The first month feels useless. The second, boring. The third, discouraging. But after a year, you look back and see progress, not just in your balance, but in discipline, mindset, and confidence. You understand that the rich aren't those who earn the most. They are those who know what to do with the little they have. Small cuts, big decisions. Now that you understand the power of investing small amounts each month, the question arises that paralyzes almost everyone. Where will that money come from? Yes, the salary is modest, but the answer isn't in earning more. It's in the small details of your everyday life. Small things that seem harmless but erode your financial future. The truth is simple. Wealth doesn't come from how much you earn. It comes from how much you keep. That daily coffee outside, that forgotten subscription, that delivery that seems cheap but costs you $100 a week. These expenses are like holes in a bucket. You can pour in more money, but with holes open, it always leaks. The truly rich, the ones who build real freedom, learn to plug those holes early and do so with a careful eye on the fate of their money. They don't buy coffee at McDonald's. They live in the same house for decades. They drive old cars. Not because they can't spend. They understand that the true value of money is in the freedom it provides, not in appearances. Everything changes with the right mindset. The question is no longer, can I afford this? But rather, does this bring me closer to or farther from financial freedom? While many chase status, likes, and approval, money quietly slips away. You think you're living, but in reality, you're burying yourself. Now think differently. Imagine someone who lives below their means. They avoid impulsive purchases. They choose simple clothing. They don't want to look successful. They want to be free. That person doesn't draw attention today, but in a few years, they will have a solid savings reserve, growing investments, and the freedom to decide where to work, when to rest, and how to live. They built wealth without being noticed. That is the secret of the quiet rich. They don't want to look rich. They want control, peace of mind, a life without debt, without racing, without desperation, and it all starts with small decisions. Buffett gave up the superfluous not because he was broke, but because he could see far ahead. He knew true wealth doesn't come by chance. It comes from a clear, consistent method. He knew exactly where he wanted to go and understood that the habits that build wealth come from small, consistent details. It's not about living poorly, but about learning to spend with purpose. Every dollar wisely saved is a building block in your wealth. The line between living in debt and building real wealth lies precisely in those details that almost no one teaches. Start looking at your expenses with the mindset of an investor. It's not about cutting everything, but prioritizing what brings you closer to freedom. Earning beyond your salary is essential. If you live on minimum wage, at some point, saving and investing alone isn't enough. Those are the first steps. What really transforms your path is when you start creating new sources of income. And we're not talking about killing yourself with 2 jobs or living exhausted. We're talking about simple strategies that start small and over time become passive or recurring income. Buffett understood this from a young age. He never relied on a single source of income. As a boy, he sold newspapers, rented out pinball machines, resold golf balls, and earned money even when he wasn't present. He quickly learned that building wealth doesn't come just from saving. It comes from multiplying resources without exchanging time for money. Buffett said the best investment is in yourself. Learning something new, reading a good book, taking an affordable course, seeking free knowledge about finance and entrepreneurship. While most people spend their leftover money on parties, clothes, or gifts, those seeking financial freedom turn that extra into capital, reinvest it, and let it grow quietly, because money built gradually has more value. It represents emotional strength, long-term vision, and security amid uncertainty. The problem was never a low salary. It was living your whole life depending on it, waiting for a miracle. Don't wait for time or motivation. Start with what you have, at your own pace, because every extra income, when used strategically, shortens the path to financial independence. Who understands this early? They build freedom, while others are still waiting for a promotion that may never come. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine. 10 years have passed. You wake up calmly, without an alarm, without rush, without hidden debts. You open your bank account and see your returns coming in automatically. Your investments are growing, your wealth is accumulating. That is true freedom, not just talked about, but lived. And the answer is simple. You didn't wait to have a lot. You did the best with what little you had. You turned your routine into strategy. You built your freedom with consistency, not luck. Buffett wasn't born rich either. He learned that the secret isn't earning more. It's knowing exactly what to do with every penny. And you can too, even starting from zero, because true wealth doesn't come from noise. It comes from method. Now it's your turn. Will you remain tied to your salary, or will you use this financial knowledge to change your path? No one will transfer money to your account, but you can plant the seeds of your freedom today with smart decisions, simple investments, and discipline. Because at the end of the day, building wealth has nothing to do with magic. It's about strategy, courage, and action. A big hug, and see you next time.